What's going on, Genius Nation? It's your man, Dr. Will, and you guys know the deal. Let me know what city, what state, what country you're chiming in from. Even if you're watching this on the replay, let me know what city, what state, what country you're chiming in from. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscription notification button, all the things that make the algorithm go pop. Welcome to Daily Insights with Dr. Will. I am Dr. Will. I'm here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, where God vacations. So once again, wherever you are in the world, let me know what city, what state, what country you are chiming in from. Welcome to another magnificent Wednesday, wonderful Wednesday. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're making it do what it do. Before we get into today's lesson, I want to share with you guys once again, we released our Genius Action Planner. This planner is designed to help you dominate your year, So if you really want to maximize 2023 and you want to learn how to really brainstorm and think your year through, this planner is exactly what you need. So simply go over to drwillspeaks.com/planner and you can pick you up one. If you're one of the first, I think it's 35 to get the planner, you're going to be invited to a special master class that I'm going to be doing, specifically teaching you how to maximize this planner, how I use it to map out my whole year. And I'm going to teach you in a special master class. So once again, drwillspeaks.com/planner. Make sure you get yours. Hopefully you can be one of the first 35 to hop in there and make sure you're part of that masterclass. Well, today, nation, I want to talk to you about having a mindset of abundance, and why it's so important for you to have a mindset of abundance. Why is it so important for you to have a mindset of abundance? You know, every morning I have an affirmation that I say to myself and to the universe. And it's about me being intentional about how I want to show up. And it's about me being intentional about how I want people to experience me. Have you ever thought about that? How do people experience me when they walk away? What's the residue that I leave? What's the taste in their mouth that I leave? Have you ever thought about that when you interact with people? Have you ever walked away from somebody and say, they made me feel, well, how do you want people to walk away from you when they interact with you? So these affirmations that I say, I kind of call it my bio, right? I call it my bio. It's what I include in my book at the end of it for my bio. And it just simply says, I am love. I am happy. I am content. I am creator. I am abundance. I am the number one personal development coach in the world. I am everything and I am nothing. And so one of my I am statements is I am abundance. And I always want to consciously remind myself that no matter what I'm faced with in life, that I come from abundance. I come from abundance. And so because I have these affirmations on a daily basis, I get to practice and I get to invoke. So I'm always asking myself, whatever situation I'm in, who do I need to be right now? So for instance, we're talking about abundance. If I'm driving down the street and I have a flat tire or something, I don't get upset. I remind myself that I am abundance. And for this situation, I have everything that I need. I have more than enough money to get the tire fixed. There's more than enough tires in the world for my tire to be fixed. And so I constantly remind myself, I'm in abundance. I am abundance. You know, we live in this world and this world is abundance. We live in this world and this world is abundance. Now, I know we look at certain things and we say, well, Will, if the world is abundance, why is there, hunger? Why is there starvation? Why is there people that is experiencing lack? Well, there's a myriad of reasons why, some of those conditions exist, but I can tell you that it's not because there's a lack of abundance. There's not a lack of food in the world. There's more than enough food in the world. Now, there's a misappropriation sometimes of food, but there's enough food in the world that everybody should be able to eat as much as they want. Like, I just want you to think about the 8 billion people on this planet. If somehow we could get a meal to them every single day, 3 times a day, the world would not be in lack. Like, the world would not suffer. The world would not run out of food. There is enough food. People are not poor because there's not enough money. There is enough money in the world. There's enough money. I need you to understand. There's enough money in the world for all of us to have in our bank account $10 million, and it wouldn't put a dent. It's enough money for 8 billion people to each have $10 million in their account. Well, why isn't that happening? Once again, there's many reasons. There's many reasons why people are poor, but I promise you, it's not because there's a lack of money in the world. That's not the reason. That's not the reason. And so when you begin to live your life from this consciousness that, man, this is an abundant world. Everything. Listen, if every person in the world wanted a car, the manufacturers would make it. There's enough clothing for everybody. We're in an abundant world. And many times what happened, just like for me when I was growing up, you start to feel because you don't have it that there must be a lack of it. But think about this. When you go to the bank, the amount of money in your account is not all that's available. Let me say that again. The amount of money that's in your account is not all that's available. Now, you may only have access to $20, $40, $30, but that's not all that's available. And that's what you got to know about life. Hey, man, there's more available to me. There's more. If I'm living in an abundant world, then I should live in abundance. That's how you got to start thinking. If I'm living in this abundant world, then I should be living in abundance. So if lack is not the problem, poverty is not the problem, then what's the problem? It's your consciousness toward you living in an abundant world. You have to start putting a demand on that abundance. You got to start putting a demand on that abundance. And it starts with consciously understanding that, man, I live in an abundant world. I live in an abundant world. And the way this thing works out, I can't explain it all to you, but I don't care where you are listening to me. I don't care what part of the world that you're in. I don't care if they consider where you are a third world country, second world country, whatever, first world country, whatever. When you begin to articulate and declare and decree, then I'm abundance and I'll live in abundance. I'm abundance and I'll live in abundance. What happens is the universe starts to conspire to make sure that happens. And so whatever needs to happen for that to happen, so maybe you have to relocate. That may be a thing you have to do. But what happens is the universe will start giving you opportunities to make that happen. The question is, are you prepared for it? I talk to so many people about moving, moving. And they'll tell me, I've been here all my life. All my family is here. All my friends is here. And I say, but if you're not experiencing abundance, I'm originally from California. So if you know anything about California, the cost, when we talk about the cost of living, right? The cost of living, they say, is high. And so it prevents a lot of people from experiencing abundance. And I always tell these people, if I'm talking to them and they're complaining, and I say, well, move, move, move. See, for some people in America, in California, it's not an issue, right? It's not an issue. They have more than enough. They're living in abundance. But for you, that may not be your place of abundance. Does that make sense? That may not be your place of abundance. I remember when we decided to move to Phoenix, Arizona. We hadn't been here, didn't know anybody, starting from ground zero. But in my mind, I said, this is going to be my land of milk and honey. Arizona is going to be my land of milk and honey. I would not take any other answer than Arizona was going to be my land of milk and honey. It was going to be my land of milk and honey. That's the attitude that you have to have. And so I've been here just over a decade, and I'm sharing this with you, not to brag to you, but just to show you how this really works, because this was my mindset that Arizona was going to be my land of milk and honey. Doesn't matter that I had never lived here before. Doesn't matter that I didn't have any connections. My mind, my subconscious was, this is my land of milk and honey. And if you're not familiar with milk and honey, it's a designation in the Bible of, this is going to be your abundant place. This is going to be your abundant place. This is where God's going to bless you. This is where God's going to shine on you. And so, true to nature, true to God's word, because I came here that this was going to be my land of milk and honey, Phoenix has been my land of milk and honey. Phoenix has been my land of milk and honey. You know, recently I was named one of the top 100 CEOs in Arizona. How does that happen? How does that happen? Yeah, I put in the work and all that kind of stuff, but I'm telling you, I'm operating under this guise that I am abundance and Phoenix is my land of milk and honey. I just got a notification that I'll be receiving another prestigious award, the MLK Living the Dream Award, at the beginning of the next year. How does this stuff is not just happening for me to be happening for me. It's happening because I've declared and decreed that Arizona is my land of milk and honey. Now, let me ask you and let me challenge you where you are right now, where you're living right now. Can you decree and declare that, man, I'm in my land of milk and honey? And if I'm not, then what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What changes do I need to make? It may not be, it may not require you, to move to another state or anything like that, but your mindset has to change. I know that. Your mindset has to change. You got to start feeling different, seeing different about where you are, that you got to start saying, my city is filled with opportunities. My city is filled with opportunities. It reminds me of the story, and I'll let you guys go with this. The disciples, they had been fishing all night. And Jesus comes up to them and he says, have you caught anything? And they said, we haven't caught anything. We've been here all night. Now I want you guys to get this, because they were fishing. And you guys know that, in the ocean, there's plenty, there's bountiful fish. There's an abundance of fish. So if you're a fisherman and you're where there's an abundance of fish, then you should be catching some fish. And so Jesus comes and they say, we haven't caught anything all night long. And Jesus says to them, cast your net on the other side. Cast your net on the other side. Now, remember, he was a carpenter and he's talking to skilled fishermen. This is what Peter and them did. This was their profession. They weren't out there as hobbies. This is what they did. This is what their job. They were fishermen. Peter was a fisherman. And so Jesus says, cast your net to the other side. And Peter said, at your word, I'll put my net on the other side. Now notice, Jesus didn't say, get a brand new boat. He didn't say get some brand new nets. He didn't say you got to go get another certification. He says you got to change your action. You got to change your location. They had to go to the other side. He says, put your net on the other side. And Peter said, at your word, I'll do it. At your word, I'll do it. The Bible says that when Peter cast the net on the other side, the Bible says that they got an abundance of fish. They got so much fish. This is what it says. They got so much fish that it began to break their nets. And they had so much fish that it said they had to start giving fish to all the other fishermen that was around them. It said they started to disperse out fish to all the other boats that was around them because they were now in abundance. See, what happens when you start living from abundance, that's when you can be a blessing to other people. That's when you're living in the overflow. It's hard to think about being a blessing to somebody else. It's hard to think about giving to somebody else when you're feeling like you're living in lack, when you're feeling like you don't have everything you need. But when you're living in abundance, it's easy when you're living in abundance to give because you're not living from lack. So listen, what do you need to do? What alterations do you need to, what adjustments do you need to do? What pivot do you need to make? Because here's the thing for me. Listen, if abundance is available, then I want it. That's my thing, guys. If abundance is available, then I want it. I want it. If it's available, I want it. So that's my challenge for you, because abundance is available. But ask yourself, am I operating from an abundant mindset? Am I operating from an abundant mindset? And if you're not operating from an abundant mindset, I would challenge you. I would challenge you to start asking yourself, well, why am I not operating from an abundance mindset? And let me tell you guys this. Let me give you this last bit of information. Don't look at your circumstances. Don't look at your resources to determine if you should be living in abundance or not. Don't look at your resources. Don't look at what you have in the bank right now to determine if you should be living in abundance. I want you to start declaring and decreeing every single day. I am abundance and I'm living in abundance. I am abundance and I'm living in abundance. I am abundance and I'm living in abundance. And what will happen is your perspective will begin to change. Your actions will begin to change. And when your perspective and your actions change, then your results change. All right, guys, go out there and have a wonderful Wednesday. I hope I said something today to spark something on the inside of you. As I always say, go out there and dominate nation. I'll see you right back here in the morning, back in the nation. Have a blessed day, everybody.